Hey, it's Tara, your yoga bestie, and have a great class for you today. So, we don't really have any props that we're using in particular, but if you take my class regularly, you know I'm a big fan of two blocks. So, have any props that you might want to have for yourself that make you feel the most comfortable. All right, so we can start out however you want to. Seated, recline, child's pose. Here's our buddy Lionel. So, just find a comfortable space to check in with your breath and determine where you want your arms and legs to be. Draw the shoulder blades in towards one another, and then shut the eyes down as we start to tap into our Ujjayi breath. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Taking this time to connect with our breath. It'll be our energy source throughout our practice. And just know that our Ujjayi breath is an audible breath. So you're gonna hear a snoring like sound in the back of the throat, kind of like you're fogging up a mirror with your nose. And while you're creating a rhythm with that breath, we've been talking about the chakras in my class. Currently in the sixth chakra, also known as the third eye chakra, which is located in between the eyebrows. It's associated with the color indigo. So maybe you soften your forehead and imagine an indigo glow coming from that area of the body as you inhale and exhale through the nose. Our sixth chakra, or our third eye chakra, is known as our soul's flashlight. So it's shining a light where things once felt unclear. So it's tapping into that intuition of ours. And the affirmation that I'm offering up that goes along with this chakra is, I am open to new perspectives. So inhaling, I am open, exhaling to new perspectives. And feel free to utilize that whenever you like. I'll be referring to it throughout our practice today. On your next inhale, let's find some organic movement. So if you're on your back, it could be a full body stretch. If you're in child's pose, it might be walking your hands from side to side. If you're seated, you might start to make some rotations with the spine, the head, getting into the neck, or whatever else feels good to you in this moment. And then either from a reclined space or a seated position, we'll all bring our hands together at our heart center, our Anjali Mudra, as we set our intention for our practice today, which might be utilizing our affirmation of, I am open to new perspectives. We'll take another big breath in here. Exhale, let it go. And then when you're ready, we'll make our way into a tabletop position. So just coming onto our hands and knees and finding some movement here. So just check in, spreading through the fingers nice and wide, working that weight forward so you're not sitting into the heel of the hand or near the wrist, but you're coming towards the base of the fingers. And we're gonna start to make some little rotations here. Doesn't matter which direction, because we'll go in both directions, but we can start to work those hips down as we inhale, coming all the way around. And as we exhale, coming back like we're almost in child's pose. And just finding a rhythm that feels good to you so that you can then just let your head relax, chin drawing in towards the chest. Next time that you come forward, we'll just switch directions, but not hold the breath. So we're still inhaling as we come forward, exhaling as we draw back. One more of these. And then let's make our way to child's pose. We're gonna get a nice foot stretch at the same time. So we'll tuck all of our toes under. And we can bring our forehead onto the mat, just moving it from side to side, kind of tapping into that third eye chakra. And from this space, we'll move into our first down dog of the practice. No rush, but when you're ready, you can start to make your way there, warming up in any way that feels good to you. So maybe you're bicycling the legs, you might bend the knees as you move your hips from side to side. Full breath in. Exhale. And then as you inhale, shift it forward, plank pose, nice and strong, gazing at the space in front of your mat. Exhale, push it back, down dog. Inhale, we shift it forward, plank pose. Exhale, push it back, down dog. Inhale, shift it forward. And then as we exhale, we're gonna lower all the way onto our bellies for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands are underneath the shoulders, tops of the feet come in the mat as we inhale, lifting up into Cobra pose. Exhale, we'll lower. And we'll just start to move through these at the pace of our breath. Feel free to change up anything. I like to come onto my fingertips in a wide stance and then bring in some shoulder dips. Next time that you lower the forehead down, go ahead and bring those hands underneath your shoulders and bend the right leg. From here, we're placing that foot to the outside of our left leg, which means we're seated and we're facing the back of our mat. We're also coming off the mat a little bit, and that's totally okay because we're going right back there. So we'll bring our left hand to the outside of our left leg, coming on to that ball of the right foot as we lift up into wild things. So maybe finding some movement here. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, gaze towards the front of your mat. Take a big step forward with that right foot. And then come into your one-legged mountain. So left knee draws into chest. You could have your hands to your hips. Arms could come up overhead. Hands could be at heart center. But try to flex through that foot and then draw that knee towards the center line of the body. Take a full breath in. Exhale, big step back for runner's lunge. And if you have those blocks, maybe you have them to each side of your foot as we start to shift forward and back from runners to our pyramid-like pose. Just moving at a pace that feels good to you. Next time that we shift forward, go ahead and lower that back knee down right above the kneecap and then kind of sink into that forward leg, breathing into that left hip flexor as you let your chin draw in towards your chest. Inhale. Exhale. And then push the floor away so you can lift up that right foot, bringing the knees together. And we'll move into our child's pose. This time we don't have to have the toes tucked under. We'll just come into our regular child's pose. And from this space, we're going to be moving into what I'm calling little mini push-ups. So we shift forward. We'll start out by lifting up the right leg, and then we lower for the push-up, and then we push it back to that child's pose. And then we shift it forward, lifting up the left leg, lower for the push-up, and then come into that child's pose. So just try to move that through that from side to side. When we have this in our sequence today, we'll only do it once on each side. But just getting used to this rhythm, it's a great way to build up strength for your chaturangas. Once both sides are even, just come into that child's pose. Big inhale. Exhale. And then come onto your belly. Bring the arms behind the back, interlacing the fingers, or if you have a towel that makes this more accessible, you might have a towel in between the hands. Draw those shoulders back as you lift up for your locust pose. So you can always have the legs still onto the floor, or maybe you lift those legs up. And try not to hold the breath here. So feel that rise and fall of the belly in this space. Take one more big breath in. And then as we exhale, release. Hands come underneath the shoulders and we'll tuck our toes under as we come into our down dog. Big breath in. Exhale. Inhale, shift it forward, plank pose. Exhale, we lower onto our bellies for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keeping those hands underneath the shoulders. This time we'll bend the left leg and we'll place it to the outside of our... Anyway, we come up to the seated position facing the back of our mat where we're setting up for our wild thing. So right hand to the outside of the right leg, left arm reaches up, and we lift up those hips. Maybe finding some movement here. Exhale, gaze towards the front of the mat. Step that left foot forward and we come into our one-legged mountains, bringing that right knee into the chest. You find your arm variation that you prefer. Really flexing through that foot as you find that focal point to focus on, which is super helpful for our third eye chakra. Inhale. Exhale, big step back to that runner's lunge. Maybe you have your blocks here. As we start to shift forward and back from runners to our pyramid. Next time you shift it forward, lower that back knee down right above the kneecap and kind of sink into that forward leg as you breathe into that right hip flexor. Big breath in. Exhale. And then we push the floor away to lift up that foot, bringing the knees together, and we come into our child's pose from here. Moving into those little mini push-ups, we'll shift forward, starting out with the left leg lifted this time. And then we exhale back. Shift forward, right leg up. And just alternating here for a few rounds. Once both sides are even, make your way to child's pose and then onto your belly for locust pose. So we'll bring the arms behind the back, interlacing the unusual way. Inhale, lifting up through the chest, keeping those legs down, or legs can be lifted, but we're really focused on our breath. So feeling that rise and fall of the belly as we inhale. Exhale. We inhale. Exhale. Big breath in. Exhale, release. And now we'll make our way to down dog. I was like, that's not right. Just bicycle the legs out. Check in with your breath here. Nice long neck as you gaze past the legs. Inhale. Exhale. And then bending the knees a lot, we'll gaze forward as we make our way to the front of our mat for our forward fold. So separating our feet at least hip distance apart or 2 fists in between, but maybe more. Find an arm variation you like. I'm going to bring the arms behind the back today, maybe swaying from side to side. Two breaths as we inhale. Exhale. Big breath in. Exhale, release those arms. Start to bring your feet in towards one another as we roll all the way up to standing. Inhale, arms will reach, gazes up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant as we either step or float back, making our way through our vinyasa, or you can go right from plank pose to your down dog. Full breath in. Exhale. Bend the knees, gazing forward as we step or float. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward. Let's reverse. Reach it up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthening. Hands plant as we step or float it back, making our way to our down dog however you choose. Inhale. Exhale, softening the knees, we gaze forward as we make our way to the front. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward. Let's reverse, reaching it up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale. Exhale, hands plant as we make our way to our down dog or any resting position of choice. All right, so we're gonna go into our first main sequence, which I call peanut butter, and we'll move through it a little bit slowly. If we did those poses in the warm-up, we'll move a little bit quicker with those. And then we repeat that a couple times with more of a breath pace. And then we move into the second sequence, which I call jelly. And we'll do that same thing, just like we did with peanut butter. And then we bring them both together at the end for one long, delicious sequence. That's right, it'll be PB&J time then. So let's go ahead and start out. We're coming into our child's pose for peanut butter today with something that's gonna feel very familiar from right away. So from child's pose, inhale, right leg lifts for that mini push-up to child's pose. And then we shift forward, left leg lifts for that mini push-up to child's pose. And then we come on to our bellies. Setting up for locust pose, we'll inhale, lifting up. Exhale. One more breath in here. Exhale, we'll release, coming all the way into our down dog. And then from that down dog, right leg lifts. We'll open up the hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling as we work the left heel down. Stay or start to make some circles going in one direction, going in the other direction. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, knee to nose as we bring that foot all the way through, setting up for reverse warrior. So we ground down through that back foot, and we're gonna reach up and over, breathing into that right side body. So super strong, straight legs here, particularly that back leg that allows you to go deeper into your forward leg. We gaze up towards the fingertips or gaze at your back foot. Inhale. Exhale, now gaze towards the back foot because we're gonna pivot our toes to the back. Arms will reach up overhead for crescent pose. So you can always walk this left foot out a little bit if you need a little bit more space. And then exhale, hands come to heart center as we move into our twist. So right elbow to the outside of that knee, really working that right side body towards that left side. You might gaze past your shoulder. You can always add on or back off, so you can always lower that knee. Open the arms, find a bind. Inhale. Exhale, gaze down. And face the other long edge of the mat as we reach the arms up overhead. Inhale. Exhale, wide forward fold. So in this forward fold, feel free to find some movement. Feel free to just hold this space as you work your way forward so you're coming out of the heels. Big breath in. Exhale. And then we'll come onto our fingertips and our flat back, moving into supported exalted warrior, facing the front of your mat. So we're lowering the back knee down, and we lean in towards the right side as we bring that right arm down, left arm up, either gazing past our shoulder or up towards the fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Push into the mat to bring those knees together. And we're back to our child's pose. So that is our peanut butter for today. Inhale, shift it forward. Left leg lifts for our mini push-up. To child's. And then we shift forward, right leg lifts for the mini push-up. To child's. Coming onto the belly. Locust pose, we inhale. Exhale. Big breath in. Exhale, release. Down dog. Left leg lifts this time as we open up that hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling. Holding it here and making those circles. Going in both directions. Inhale, straightening that leg. Exhale, bring it through, coming into your reverse warrior. So we'll ground down through that back foot as we reach up and over. Keep softening that left knee and keeping that right leg super strong and straight as you reach back to find that back bend. Inhale. As we exhale, gaze towards your back foot. We'll pivot to where we face the back, coming into our crescent pose. So making any adjustments so you're not on a tightrope. Inhale. Exhale, hands come to heart center, and we twist, bringing that left elbow to the outside of our right knee. And feel free to find any different variations here that work for your practice. Inhale. Exhale, gaze down towards that right foot, and then face the opposite long edge of the mat as we reach the arms up. Inhale. Exhale, wide forward fold. So finding your version here. Big breath in. Exhale. And then coming onto your fingertips and your flat back, we come into that supported exalted. So lower that back knee down as we face the front. Left arm comes behind us and right arm reaches up as we come into our supported exalted. Big breath in. Exhale, cartwheel those hands down, pushing the floor away as we bring the knees together, child's pose. All right, so we'll start to pick up the pace on this. So shift it forward, right leg lifts for mini push-up to child's. Left leg lifts to child's. And then we come on to our bellies. Inhale, locust pose. Exhale, release. Coming all the way into your down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, we bring it through. Setting up for reverse warrior on the inhale. Exhale, gaze to the back. Inhale, crescent pose facing the back. Exhale, we twist. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, wide forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, bend that back leg facing forward as we come into that supported exalted. And then we cartwheel those hands down. Knees come together for child's pose. Inhale, left leg lifts for mini push-up. And then right leg lifts. Coming on to our bellies for locust pose. Inhale. Exhale, releasing to your down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, bring it through. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, gaze to your back foot. Inhale, crescent to the back. Exhale, we twist. Inhale, open it wide. Exhale, wide forward fold. Inhale, coming onto your fingertips. Exhale, bringing that right knee down and facing forward so that we inhale into that supported exalted. And then we cartwheel it down, bringing our knees together as we come into child's pose. All right, we inhale. Right leg lifts as we take that mini push-up. Exhale to child's pose. Inhale, left leg lift. Child's. Inhale, coming forward. And bringing those hands behind the back. Lifting up for our locust pose. Exhale, release all the way to down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, we bring it through. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, gaze the back. Inhale, face the back crescent. Exhale, we twist. Inhale, open it up wide. Exhale, wide forward fold. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, lower that back knee and face forward for that supported exalted. Inhale. Exhale, hands come down and knees come together. Child's pose. Mini push-up forward, left leg lifts. And then right leg lifts. And then we come on to our bellies. Inhale, locust pose. Exhale, all the way to down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, bring it through. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, gaze to the back. Inhale, face the back crescent. Exhale, we twist. Inhale, open it up wide. Exhale, wide forward fold. Inhale, coming onto your fingertips. Exhale, soften that right knee down. We inhale all the way that supported, exalted. And then we cartwheel those hands down, making our way to our child's pose or any resting position of choice. Close your eyes as you inhale and exhale through the nose. We are ready for jelly. And jelly starts out in our forward fold at the front of our mat. And as we come into this space, inhale, I am open. Exhale to new perspectives. I am open to new perspectives. Inhale, we lengthen halfway onto the fingertips. And then we plant the palms as we step it back into our plank pose. And we lower all the way onto our bellies. We're coming to our belly for jelly. Our right leg bends. And we bring that foot to the outside of the leg as we come to seated, facing the back. Inhale into our wild thing. Exhale, step that right foot forward, one-legged mountain. So from our one-legged mountain, we're stepping back into crescent. Pretty simple. But I want to see if we can incorporate our arms, make it a little bit flowy, and you'll see why. So we're going to reach those arms forward as we bring that foot back. And then we bring the arms all the way around and inhale into our crescent pose. And we might find a little bit of a bounce here. Just kind of checking in. So just a little arm movement all the way around. Because we're coming into our high Skandasana to the back, and we're sweeping any of the badness off our mats. Maybe we have those right toes lifted as we do so. So we're just sweeping it to the back, and then we shift right back forward into full exalted. So twisting over towards the right, left arm up, right arm down. Big inhale. Exhale, cartwheel those hands down, and we're coming into a toe balance. So lift up those heels. You might play with a balance by bringing your hands to heart center or keeping your hands down, totally up to you. From this space, we're lowering those knees down and lifting up for big heart opening variation of our camel pose, like we're giving ourselves a big hug and shifting those hips forward. Feel free to bring your gaze upward. Big breath in. As we exhale, we come into forward fold, so we shift back onto those feet and lift up the knees to come into our forward fold. And that's our jelly. So from here, plant the hands, step it back into your plank pose, and lower all the way onto your belly. Left leg bends this time as we bring it to the outside of our foot, coming to that seated position, facing the back. Inhale, wild thing, lifting up those hips. Exhale, left foot steps forward for our one-legged mountain, bringing that right knee in towards our chest. And then we're bringing in those arms again. So as we step back, arms reach forward, and they keep going all the way around so that we inhale into our full crescent pose. Maybe finding a little bit of a bounce here. Big breath in. As we exhale, high Skandasana to the back, we sweep and maybe lift up those left toes as we're sweeping to the back. And then we just shift it right back forward, coming into our full exalted as we lean in towards the left side. Right arm is up, left arm is down. Inhale. Exhale, cartwheel those hands down. Feet come together as we lift up those knees for our toe balance. Maybe playing with that balance. It moves pretty fast when we start to pick up the pace. So if you're wanting to play with the toe balance, this is that time to do so. And then we lower those knees and lift up to the chest, pushing those hips forward. Big breath in. Exhale, sink back, lifting up those knees to come into your forward fold. All right, it's gonna feel fast. Just give yourself a pep talk. It'll be all right. It's gonna be fine. So plant the hands, step it back as you make your way onto your belly. Right leg lifts, and we come to seated. Inhale, wild thing. Exhale, right foot steps forward. Inhale, one-legged mountain. Exhale, we step it back to crescent. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, sweeping high Skandasana. We sweep it to the back. Inhale, shift it forward for full exalted. Exhale, hands come down, and we come into our toe balance, lowering the knees and opening up through the chest. Exhale, shift it back, forward fold. Plant the palms, step it to your plank pose, lowering all the way onto your belly on your exhale. Left knee bends. We'll come up into our seat. Inhale, wild thing. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, one-legged mountain. Exhale, step it back. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, high sweeping Skandasana to the back. Inhale, shift it forward, full exalted. Exhale, cartwheel those hands down, bringing the feet together. Inhale, toe balance. Exhale, knees lower. Inhale, open up through the chest. Exhale, shift it back into your forward fold. Plant the palms, step it to plank pose, and lower all the way to your belly. Right leg bends, and we come up to seated. Inhale, wild thing. Exhale, step that foot forward. Inhale, one-legged mountain. Exhale, step it back. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, sweeping Skandasana. Inhale, exalted. Exhale, hands come down, feet come together. Inhale, toe balance. Exhale, knees lower. Inhale, open up through the heart. Exhale, forward fold. And then plant the palms, step it back to your plank. Lower all the way onto your belly. Left foot comes to the ceiling. And we shift it to our wild thing. Inhale. Exhale, step that left foot forward. Inhale, one-legged mountain. Exhale, step it back. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, sweeping Skandasana. Inhale, exalted. Exhale, hands come down, feet come together. Inhale, toe balance. Exhale, knees lower. Inhale, open up through the heart. And exhale, forward fold. All right. Guess what time it is? It's my favorite time of the entire practice. It's peanut butter and jelly time, folks. And so we're going to bring these two sequences together for one delicious peanut butter and jelly sequence sandwich. And you've done everything already, so you've got this all day long. We're going to meet in our child's pose, which is like, thank you. So make your way there. And as you come into your child's pose, I am open to new perspectives. Again, I am open to new perspectives. You got this. Child's pose. All right, we inhale for our mini push-up right leg lifts. Exhale back. Inhale, left leg lifts, mini push-up. Exhale back. Coming on to our bellies for our locust pose. We inhale, lifting up. Exhale, make your way to down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, we bring it through. Grounding down for that back foot, we inhale our reverse warrior. Exhale, gaze to the back. Inhale, crescent pose. Exhale, crescent twist. Inhale, open it up to that wide edge of the mat. Exhale, wide forward fold. Inhale, coming onto your fingertips. Exhale, bend the back knee, setting up for that supported exalted on our inhale. Exhale, cartwheel those hands down. Step it back to plank pose and lower all the way onto your belly. From here, right leg bends and we lift up so that we inhale, wild thing. Exhale, step that right foot forward. Inhale, one-legged mountain. Exhale, step it back. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, sweeping Skandasana. Inhale, full exalted. Exhale, cartwheel those hands down. Inhale, toe bounce. Exhale, knees lower. Inhale, open up to the heart. Exhale, forward fold. The first side is done. Let's make our way to child's pose. You got this. One more side. All right. Inhale, mini push-up, left leg lifts. Inhale, mini push-up, right leg lifts. Coming on to our bellies, we inhale, locust pose. Exhale to down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, we bring it through. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, gaze to your back foot. Inhale, crescent pose. Exhale, we twist. Inhale, open it up wide. Exhale, wide forward fold. Inhale, fingertips. Exhale, right knee lowers. Inhale, supported, exalted. Exhale, cartwheel those hands down. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower to the belly. Left leg lifts, and we lift up so that we inhale, wild thing. Exhale, step that foot forward. Inhale, one-legged mountain. Exhale, step it back. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, sweeping Skandasana. Inhale, full exalted. Exhale, hands come down and feet come together. Inhale, heels lift, toe balance. Exhale, knees come down. Inhale, open up through the heart. Exhale, forward fold. Yay! You did it. So make your way to a seated position from here. Slow down the breath. We're going to go into some alternate nostril breathing. So I like to come into the hang loose hands. Closing off the right nostril, we inhale in through the left. Close off left, exhale through the right. Inhale right. Close off, exhale left. Inhale left. Close off, exhale right. And just keep going with this rhythm. Feel free to do that as many rounds as you like. It's a great way to balance both hemispheres of the brain. Great for brain fog, anxiety, frustration, all the things. And then once you finish, just place your hands onto your knees and breathing through both nostrils, just check in. From this space, we'll come onto our backs, setting up for our final pose of Shavasana. So if there's anything else that you like to do before you come into that space, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, as you make your way there, I want to encourage you to take up space on your mat. So nice wide stance with the legs, allowing the feet to fall freely to the sides. Arms come down by your sides with palms facing up. And I like to encourage you to take up space because our practice is a reflection of our lives off the mat. So the idea is that if we take up space here, we take up space once we go out into the world. And in this final pose, have so much gratitude for showing up to your mat today and so much gratitude for all the hard work that you put in. Gratitude for this feeling through those two things because you made that happen. So be so proud of yourself. Know that I'm so proud of you. And just allow your breath to be soft and your body to be still. Shavasana. As always, you're welcome to stay here as long as you like. But if you're ready, go ahead and reach the arms up overhead, getting a nice full body stretch. And then bringing the knees into your chest, give them a nice big hug as you roll to your side in your fetal-like pose. Our pose for new beginnings. I am open to new perspectives. Take this feeling with you as you leave the mat, because that is when our true yoga begins. We'll meet in a seated position of choice for hands come to heart center, our Anjali Mudra. We'll tuck our chin under, and we close with Namaste. Thank you so much for being a part of this practice today. Can't wait to see you next time. Bye.